Today on Let's Fish TV, we are on Lake Seminole. This is on the Florida-Georgia line, and one thing about it, it is absolutely stocked full of big largemouth bass. Today, we're gonna be targeting those bass on beds. You know, they're spawning everywhere. We got a full moon this weekend, and the fish are everywhere. You know, when it comes to catching bedding bass, I can't think of better baits than the mid-size rage bug and the Strike King rage bug. Today is gonna be a really good show. Let's Fish TV is on the air right now. Oh my gosh. Check that out.
It's time for the only program that brings you real-time fishing reports from the Southwest region every week.
Cobia! Big one. And a monster! Look at that!
That's a Tawakoni giant.
This is Let's Fish.
Welcome to Let's Fish TV. I'm your host, Andrew Upshaw. Today we are at Lake Seminole. Lake Seminole is located right on the Florida-Georgia line, and it sits just under 38,000 acres. The fish are spawning, we have a full moon, and let me tell you guys, I think we're having a lot of fun bed fishing today on Lake Seminole. We'll also have this week's fishing report from your local region from our insider reporters. In the meantime, I'm gonna get this Bass Cat Mercury launched, get everything set up, and toss it back to the studio for your weekend planner.
Hello everybody, these salooner tables are indicating fair game fish activity both days this weekend. Peak daytime hours begin around 8:58 on Saturday and 9:40 Sunday morning. The best night fishing will begin at 9:23 on Saturday and 10:05 Sunday evening. Depending on your location, the sun will rise around 6:59 and will set around 7:59, and evenings will have a moon that is just 27% visible. Stick around, I'm going to return with MLF angler Mark Daniels Jr. to answer this week's Ask the Pro question.
Today on Let's Fish TV, we're at Lake Seminole. Man, we have the perfect conditions today. It's dead slick calm, we're in the middle of the spawn, we have a full moon. You know, a lot of times on the show, I feel like we always are hit with those unfortunate circumstances that we always hit when we're fishing. Today is not that day. Today is the day when the fish are gonna bite, and I got a really good feeling that we're gonna have a lot of fun today. The fish should be pulling up on beds everywhere, all throughout the lower end of this lake. And I'm gonna be using my eyes to try to catch some bass. But let's go see if we can, and maybe we'll catch us a big one today. She's gonna mess up here in a second. Oh, gosh, she bit it again. She's really good at just biting it. There we go. Woo! Man, not a bad little fish to start out the day. Look at that. Here, let's get this baby in. There we go. Guys, we're here at Lake Seminole. We're right on the Florida-Georgia line. This is just a male bass off a bed, but let me tell you guys, I've already seen quite a few really big fish today, and I've got a really good feeling about it. Let's get this fish back though, and we'll talk a little bit about what we're doing here at Lake Seminole. Well guys, not a bad way to start the day here at Lake Seminole. You know, this is a lake that is really, really unique. It's got a lot of standing timber over around the Spring Creek area, but it has a lot of bass, and we're actually hitting this particular day on Seminole on a full moon, and the bass are moving up to spawn. You know, that is one of my favorite ways to catch fish, is using my eyes, finding those fish on beds. And today I'm gonna walk you through the process of how to catch these fish off beds, what exactly I do to catch the fish, and a few of the baits and little tricks that I use to land more and more bass. But overall, I got a good feeling about today. That's just a 2-pounder, 2.5 pounder. But guys, I've already seen some 5, 6, and 7s. Got one locked down behind me. Probably gonna catch it. And I'm gonna tell you, man, like, there's nothing better than finding those really big fish on the beds and catching them. But one thing that I will always stress, and I hope you always remember this, if you catch a fish off a bed, please turn it back. You know, they're reproducing. We don't mess up with them too much. Get those fish back so they can spawn, lay their eggs, and then go back out to deep water. But guys, today's episode is gonna be a good one.
Hey friends, Captain Kevin Broussard here with this week's Let's Fish Outdoor Report, coming to you from Hackberry, Louisiana, Cajun Paradise Lodge. Tell you what, we're gonna start off on the saltwater side of things. Bill Lake down in Houma, Louisiana, he's doing really good. The trout numbers are starting to pick up, also catching lots of redfish there. Also, over in Breton Sound, talked to several of my guide buddies down there. The trout action is really turning over there too, so it sounds like basically saltwater fishing all along the whole Gulf Coast right now of Louisiana is starting to pick up. On the freshwater side of things, got a friend of mine been going to Bussy Break Lake. Tell you what, he's still catching lots of fish in the 6 to 10 pound range, basically flipping big creature type baits in 2 to 5 feet of water for old Cajunville. This is Captain Kevin Broussard saying happy fishing, may God bless, and we're gonna see you next week. Let's fish.
There we go. Oh yeah, there we go, guys. Oh, get out from under there. Whew, there we go. Man, what a fish. All right, let's get her in. Oh shoot, look at the size of that one. That's every bit of 4 pounds, just a great fish. Man, just peeing like crazy. Nice Seminole bass. Once again, just like I told you before, we went to the more natural rage bug. When I saw this one, it's a little bit bigger. You can use a bigger profile, but just a great, great bass. Let's get this fish back real quick and let's see what we can talk about here on Let's Fish TV. All right, guys, so there's 3 things that you have to have when you come to Florida and you're bed fishing. And Seminole is right there on the Florida-Georgia line, and this is a really important tip. So the first thing is having a light weight on your Texas rig. You know, this is a pegged Strike King tungsten weight. It's 3/16. So I like a 3/16 or an 1/8 ounce when I'm in Florida. There's a ton of vegetation, and for some reason, these fish like the bait kind of floating down to them better. So that's the first trick. The second trick is using the right size bait. I use the Strike King mid-size Rage Bug. This is a new size that we just came out with, and honestly, it's filling that void of what I'd always needed when I'm bed fishing or finesse flipping. You know, that more downsized profile really tends to work when you're catching bedding bass. The third thing is matching the right hook with the Rage Bug, that mid-size. It's not as big as the regular Rage Bug, that's a 4-inch, it's a little bit smaller. I go to a 3/0 owner jungle flipping hook. It's just a regular flipping hook. That 3/0 fits it perfectly. And it's all about fitting that hook with the particular bait. You know, but as you can tell here, I'm throwing white. And I'm gonna give you a little tip, and this is, you can take this to the bank, guys, I'm just telling you. When you're fishing for bedding fish, especially male bass, the male bass tends to be on the bed first, it creates the bed, then the female comes in. If I'm targeting male bass, I go with brighter colors, your whites, your pinks, your yellows. In this case, I'm throwing pearl, and the fish are chomping it, but I'm catching males. When I get to a female, that's when I'm gonna switch profiles, I'm gonna switch colors. I'm gonna go to more of a green pumpkin, a California crawl, something like that, something more watermelon or green pumpkin base that looks like a bigger bluegill, and I will go to the normal size Rage Bug in that situation to imitate a little bit larger bait for that bigger bass. So take that to the bank, I'm telling you. If you do these couple tricks and you come down here to Florida, definitely it'll help you catch a lot more bass. But I gotta get back out here. I'm gonna go see if I can find me one of those big Seminole giants.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Mercury, Go Boldly, Lowrance, the ultimate fishing system, Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, Alabama. Plan or book your fishing charter at orangebeach.com. Motor Guides Tour Pro with GPS anchor, powered by Passion. Glacier outdoors since 1982.
Look at the size of that one. Lake Seminole, nice one right there, guys. Right in the top of the mouth, right inside the mouth. Oh, Oh, there we go. Man, that was a challenging fish there. Not a giant, but gosh, that's a good one. There we go. Look at the size of that one. Lake Seminole, nice one right there, guys. Right in the top of the mouth, right inside the mouth. Took a minute to get that one to bite, but look at how beautiful that fish is. He's up there making that nest, getting ready for a big female. Just a really, really nice Seminole bass. But I want to talk about something once we get this fish back that I think you're really gonna like, and it's really gonna help you the next time you're on the water. So let's get this fish back real quick and let's talk about it. Guys, I gotta talk to you about 3 things that will make your sight fishing immensely, immensely easier. First off is a good push pole. This happens to be the Money Pole by TH Marine. It is actually a crankbait retrieval pole, but I have used this same pole for the last couple of years. It's an aluminum pole, it doesn't bend hardly at all, and I can get in and around cover really nicely. You just gotta take the crankbait retrieval part off the end, and it works wonders. I mean, you can even fold it up, put it in your rod box. It gets to about 6 foot tall. It's perfect to slide in your rod box or underneath those rods. The second thing is, if you've noticed, almost every single bass I've caught, I've been standing on my Motor Guide trolling motor. You know, one awesome feature of the Motor Guide that I think is better than literally every other trolling motor out there is it has a wide base mount. The wide base mount makes it easier to stand on and way more balance friendly. I've fallen off of numerous other models of trolling motors. I haven't fallen off of this one yet, but that big wide base makes standing on it enormously easier. And it really helps you when you've got to get a little bit further away from those sight fish and still be able to see them. Now the third thing is, when you do troll in or push pole your way into these areas, you got to drop those power poles. I use 8-footers, but they make them all the way up to 10 foot. So if you fish in a deeper reservoir where the fish tend to spawn a little bit deeper, those 10-foot poles might be perfect for you. Day in and day out though, I use the 8-foot blades, the power pole blades, and they are simply amazing. They make it super easy, they're very quiet, and I'll be honest guys, it keeps you locked in exactly on that fish and allows you to catch them. But hey, those 3 things are essential if you're trying to sight fish or catch a fish off a bed.
Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you this week by Athlon Optics. Red dots, rifle scopes, rangefinders, and binoculars, Athlon offers you premium optics at an affordable price. Really does give you the most bang for your buck. Now this week we're going to start at Lake of the Pines and the largemouth bass bite. You'll want to go up the lake, way up the lake past the bridge. The lake is low, so be careful as you traverse up through the flooded timber. You're looking for matted grass, and you're gonna have to fight your way through it, but throw a frog over the top and you will be rewarded. Keep a Texas rig handy so you can throw it in those holes in the grass, and keep a square bill, spinnerbait, ocho, those kind of baits handy so you can fish the outside edges for those Lake of the Pines largemouth bass. Now crappie over at Lake Aquila are making their way back out of the shallows, the way up in the creek areas, mid-creek toward the main lake, around the points. Still fish shallow, 5 feet or less. Throw your minnows, a jig under a bobber. You should be able to catch some good Aquila crappie. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes. Look us up on Facebook, Lone Star Lakes.
Yep, there she goes. There we go. Man, isn't that fun? Jeez. It's all about reading the fish and paying attention to how they like it. Look at that one. Right in the top of the nose.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Have fun out there. Visit Mississippi. Wanderers welcome. Powerful. Total Boat Control. Balls Out. Made in the USA. Heavy duty mounts for your fish finders. Rely on. Challenge your limits.
There we go. Oh yeah. There we go. There we go. Got her. Oh man, nice bass there. Just got heavy. There we go. There we go. Man, Seminole is showing out today. Another nice bass on the rage bug. Once I got to about that 3 pound range, 3.5 to 4 pound range, I switched to the more natural rage bug. And that's a really important aspect to pay attention to, is when you get to that size fish, to really go a little bit more natural. But golly, what a good fish. Today's been awesome so far. I mean, we've caught a good number of fish, caught them doing sight fishing mainly, using a couple different baits from the mid-size rage bug to the normal size. I mean, just a great bass. Let's get this fish back and get it back on that bed so we can draw that female in. You know, when I'm fishing for bedding fish, I actually use the exact same rod every single time. And mainly because I'm using big line. This is 20 pound Strike and King Contra fluorocarbon. I use 17 to 25 even, almost exclusively when I'm bed fishing with a bait casting rod and reel. What that means is I'm gonna go with a heavier action rod. This happens to be the Team Lou's Signature Series Mark-Rose Jig Worm Rod. This is a 7.2 heavy action, and guys, it's just one of my favorites. If you ever followed any of the other episodes in the past couple of years, one of my favorite rods was the Ledge Series, the 7.2 heavy action. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? It's the same exact rod. They just took it to the Signature Series. It's a really sensitive rod, but it has a lot of backbone and it's extremely sensitive. The extremely sensitive part is very, very important when bed fishing, because even in that situation where I just caught that fish, I barely felt the lightest tick and my line started swimming out. I wasn't even visually looking at that fish. I kind of knew where it was in the general area where it was sitting, but I was really having to focus on my feel than necessarily seeing the fish actually eat it. And another aspect of sight fishing, or using your eyes to see fish, a lot of times we tend to get way too close to the fish. You'd actually be surprised how many fish you would catch and how fast you could catch them if you would just back the boat up 5 to 10 extra feet. I know it's really hard to see the fish at that point, but it does spook the fish less, and that is really important, and it will increase your bite to catch ratio. And also, it will help you catch them way, way faster.
What's up guys, Captain Taylor Burrell here at Wave Dancer Charters with this week's fishing report. It's gotten a little cold down here on the Texas coast again, but that hasn't stopped the big fish from biting. We're still catching lots and lots of good numbers of big black drum and even some bull redfish along the jetties. Even back in the bay, the guys said they've been waiting, catching some good solid trout. I did make it offshore this week looking for some kingfish, but didn't find any. The water temp's still a little cold for them. They should be starting to show up maybe the 3rd week of April. Before this cold spell came through though, we had lots and lots of jacks running the jetties. They even caught a cobia off the pier. So that springtime pattern's almost there, and then water temps are getting just right for everything to start happening offshore. Remember, if y'all want to go fishing down here in Galveston, Texas, look us up, Wave Dancer Charters.
There we go. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, she's going crazy, isn't she? Man, oh man. There we go. Gosh, another nice Seminole Lake bass. I mean, guys, this place here, it really is a bass factory. I mean, just had her stuck so good there. This is a bass factory. Let me tell you, anytime you mix the amount of vegetation that this place has, clear water, and largemouth bass, this is what you're gonna get. You're gonna get really nice fish. This is another 3.5, probably 3 3/4 pound fish, almost a 4 pounder. Just a great, great fish. The only hook hole in her mouth is the one I just put there. So, I mean, there's a lot of not pressured bass here. Beautiful, beautiful place. This is actually one of those places that I love coming back to. It has a lot of memories for me. Some good, some bad, but that's tournament fishing for you. But as far as just an overall fishery, you don't get much better than this. Lake Seminole is on fire right now. It has been a lot of fun. I love to bed fish. It's probably my favorite way to catch bass if I had a choice. But overall, I'll be coming back, and I hope y'all come check it out because it's a beautiful place. It has a lot of grass, a lot of bass, alligators. It has a little bit of everything, and you can fish a lot of different ways. You only got a small sample size of what this lake actually has to offer, but I hope y'all have enjoyed today. I know I sure have. Make sure y'all stay tuned.
Watch our latest episode or catch up on past episodes on our website at letsfishtv.com. Be sure to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter for new fishing videos every day. And download the free Waypoint TV app to get all the latest episodes every week on your phone, tablet, computer, or smart TV. Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Lose, Feel the Difference, Mamba Boats, Ride with Pride, Strike King, Taiwan On, Fishing Specialties, makers of the premier mount assembly for live sonar.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's get right on over to your Ask the Pro question for this week. Ashton would like to know, what is your favorite childhood fishing memory? For an answer, we asked MLF angler Mark Daniels Jr.
Gonna have to be my first bass I ever caught, man. I remember really vividly on a lure. I've caught some bass, you know, through the years on bait, fishing for brim, things like that. But my first one, man, I was fishing on the California Delta. We were fishing off the bank, me and my dad, and I had just got my first soft plastic. It was a 4-inch ringworm. I can't remember the color, but it was a ringworm, a little tiny thing. And I remember pitching it down the bank and walking it back, not really knowing what I'm doing, but trying to pick up a little tips that I've seen on TV or maybe read something, I don't know. And sure enough, this like 12-incher bites this thing, it starts swimming off. Literally the most excitement I probably ever had in my life at that time. I was about 10 years old, and that's definitely gonna be my favorite childhood memory.
Thanks so much, Mark, for sharing. If you want some help from one of the pros just like that, simply go to letsfishtv.com, follow that Ask the Pro link, and submit your very own question.
Here's today's Right Stuff, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Today on Lake Seminole, I used a two-pronged approach to catch my bass. You know, when it came to the smaller males, the 2.5 pound fish that I was catching, I was using the Strike King mid-size rage bug, white in color. You know, people ask me, why are you throwing a white one? I use a white one because when I swim that rage bug past their face, I can see when the fish eats it completely. And that's really, really important for being able to catch those fish. Still using that 7.2 Signature Series Lose rod. This is a heavy action, but I'm using a brand new reel from Lose. This is the Hyper Speed reel. It's really a pretty reel, but let me tell you the cool thing about it. It's a 9:5 to 1 gear ratio. So when I'm swimming that mid-size rage bug past the nose of those bass and they eat it, I can take up enough line in only one single turn to be able to get that hook set and get that fish in the boat quickly. And a lot of times when you're bed fishing, it's really important to get them in fast. But when it came to catching the big ones, it's to nobody's surprise. I was catching them on the regular size rage bug, California crawl in color. I like any kind of color bluegill. It doesn't matter if it's green pumpkin, watermelon red, California crawl. To me, they're all one and the same when it comes to bed fishing. It's all about how you approach the bed and how you fish the bait on the bed. And I was also using this on a brand new Lose reel. This is the Team Lose Elite TI. This is our highest end reel. And honestly, I can't even explain to you how great it is, but it is that good. I hope you learned how to find them, catch them here at Lake Seminole. Until next time, I'll see you on the water.